September of 2000. This was a strange time for me as I had just graduated from 8th grade, and yeah, we had a graduation ceremony. Was that a thing or just a thing our school did? Anyway, it was time for me to enter high school and enter the scary world of being a freshman. But enough about me, it's time to see where the Pokemon franchise was headed to next. As far as the North American releases go, this next game is the last one to be released in the Generation 1 era, which will eventually be given the moniker of Gen 1. And I know, Gen 1 technically ended in 1999, but I'm just looking at it from the North American release order and counting mainline releases as the beginning of each generation. It's just easier to block them off that way for my video order. Gen 2 was already a thing in Japan for almost a year at this point, but we'll get to that soon. For now, it's time to close the Gen 1 chapter in this Paraspective. And this game is a pretty unique one. It is the first Pokemon game that I know nothing about. I knew it existed by seeing it in blockbusters or whatever, but I really had no interest in even seeing what the game was. So let's check out Pokemon Puzzle League together, and be kind to me if I forgot something or get something wrong. I'm still learning. Although it doesn't look like a complicated game. So Pokemon Puzzle League is a strange one for a few reasons. Firstly, it is actually the fourth or second release in an already existing Puzzle League series of games, depending on how you look at it. So follow me on this one. In 1995, there was a Japanese-only release for the Super Famicom called Panel de Pon. This was eventually released in North America under the name Tetris Attack for both the Super Nintendo and Game Boy in 1996, which added some visuals from Super Mario World to Yoshi's Island. It's a puzzle game sort of more along the lines of Dr. Mario rather than Tetris, where you are given a space with different colored blocks. You must rearrange them so colors match and disappear as more blocks slowly continue to rise from the bottom. It's not a complicated game and caters to the addictive puzzle aspect like a Dr. Mario or Yoshi's Cookie or Tetris does. What's interesting about it is that a game called Tetris Attack is more of a Yoshi game than anything. In fact, if you search the list of Yoshi games on Wikipedia, for example, Tetris Attack is listed as one of the spin-offs. But Tetris Attack was yet again re-released, now back in Japan under the name BS Yoshi no Panapon, also in 1996, which is the re-release of Panel de Pon, but with the Yoshi artwork in. Some strange trifecta of layers going on there. 3 different releases of the same game, just 2 of them with Yoshi, 1 North American and 1 Japanese. One fed off the other, feeding off the other. So then, 4 years later, Nintendo decided to continue on with the Puzzle League games, but instead of making another Yoshi-centric one, why not cash in on the massive popularity of Pokemon? Yoshi was still reeling from the less than stellar reviews of 1998's Yoshi's Story for the Nintendo 64, a game that I was really excited for back then and was ultimately pretty disappointed by it. So instead, Pokemania took over once more. Pokemon Puzzle League was developed by Nintendo Software Technology, a branch of Nintendo with only 3 games at this point. Bionic Commando Elite Forces for the Game Boy Color, Ridge Racer 64 for the Nintendo 64, and Crystallis for the Game Boy Color, a re-release of the original 1990 NES game. This would be their only Pokemon release, but they would go on to make all of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, as well as Metroid Prime Hunters, which I am also not a fan of. So really, Pokemon Puzzle League is a bit of an isolated experiment for them. So let's check out the box and pretend we're seeing this for the first time in 2000. As I mean, I actually will be seeing this for the first time, at least at close examination. So we get the Pokemon Puzzle League logo with some pictures of badges below it. And right away, something obvious stands out among other Pokemon games. You actually see Ash Ketchum from the anime on the cover. Ash had never been a presence in the games at this point, although you could view the protagonist in the yellow version as presumably Ash, but this is plain as day Ash straight from the anime. Below Ash are 3 of his Pokemon, Bulbasaur, Pikachu, and Squirtle. And yes, it's pretty comical to me that Charmander was omitted here, although by this point in the anime, Ash's Charmander was a Charizard. But still, you get all of the Gen 1 starters here except for Charmander. Below that it says, "Become a Pokemon Puzzle Master," which, isn't too creative. So let me just briefly mention the anime for a second, as it seems to directly pertain to this game. The English release in September of 2000 was in its 2nd season, Adventures in the Orange Islands. Ash had recently lost the Pokemon League, and Season 2 centers around Ash traveling the Orange Islands on a Lapras with Misty and Tracy. So by this point, the season was coming to a close to gear up for the Gen 2 era, the Johto Journeys. So we are to maybe presume that this game takes place along the time frame of the Orange Islands, but I don't think it ultimately matters. The back of the box states, master a new challenge. Discover the most frantic, frenzied, fun-filled Pokemon challenge ever. Pokémon Puzzle League. Yeah, if you watched any of my Bond retrospective, this happens all the time. Each game is the best ever at something, really pushing that in-your-face marketing. Now, I can't judge this game just yet, but I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that this won't be a more frantic, frenzied, or fun-filled Pokemon challenge than, say, Pokemon Stadium, for example. I mean, this is a puzzle game. Line up 3 or more blocks of the same type to clear them off the screen. Create chains and combos to send garbage to your opponent. Oh, cool, we get to send the legendary cards from the Pokemon trading card game to our opponents. Collect badges from other Pokemon trainers to earn the right to enter the ultimate competition, a battle against the mysterious Puzzle Master. Okay, seems pretty straightforward. Fight trainers, line up colored blocks, move up in the ranks, and I genuinely don't know who the Puzzle Master is. And I may not find out, since I don't intend on beating this game, just getting a good sample of it. A puzzle game with a Pokemon theme. Ash and Pikachu, trademark, are off to the Pokemon Puzzle League tournament to defeat the mysterious Puzzle Master. Okay, so you actually are Ash in this. I assumed you were, since he's on the box and all, but you never know. It could just be a cash grab for using his likeness for anime fans. 6 different modes in 2D or 3D. Train at Professor Oak's lab or Mimic Mansion, then challenge a friend or the computer in the main stadium. Build endurance in the marathon field, solve puzzles at the Puzzle University, race against the clock in the time zone, and battle Team Rocket at the spa. My god, what are even all these places? Isn't this game just strategically lining up blocks and matching colors? There's a lab and a mansion and a stadium and a field and a university and a time zone and a spa, and am I clearly underestimating this game? Is there really that much to it? Defeat all 15 Pokemon trainers. Only 15? Or are these like gym leaders or something? Win all their badges to become the Pokemon Puzzle Master. Oh, maybe they are then. Okay, maybe this game actually is pretty involved. The first picture is the Puzzle Village, which looks almost identical to the map screen from Pokemon Stadium. So yeah, I guess there are a lot of places you can go. I'll have to figure all of this out. The next 2 pictures are layouts of the puzzle game itself, which is a pretty obvious addition. It's blue versus red, which is fitting, and the second picture shows Ash and Pikachu on the left. The opponents I can see are Staryu and Weezing. So what I don't know is if this means anything or not. Is it just cosmetic reasons why these Pokemon are there? The fourth picture shows Ash winning over Jesse, James, and Meowth, and the final picture is Ash on the phone next to a Pikachu doing his best Albert Wesker impression. Sweet shades, bro. Okay, let's see what this game is all about.
Hi, Professor Oak.
Hello, Ash. I have an important message for you. They are starting an official Puzzle League tournament, and you are selected as one of the challengers.
I'll go sign up.
I'm so proud of you, Ash. Being selected for this event is such an honor. Well, there's no time to explain everything. You must hurry.
Well, let's go.
Wait! Don't forget to come and see me in my office in Puzzle League Village!
Yeah.
Did you hear me, Ash?
Eager to prove themselves in this new type of Pokemon battle, Ash and Pikachu race to Pokemon Puzzle League Village.
There it is, Pikachu. Are you ready for another new challenge? Pikachu!
So we get this real straight-to-the-point cutscene of Professor Oak calling Ash and being like, hey, Puzzle League, get going. And Ash is like, I'm in. And Oak is all like, I can't explain what it is. And Ash is like, yeah, I'm already almost there. And apparently the Puzzle League village was 1 block away from where he was, and the game just starts. Now, I'm not saying I need an elongated backstory for a puzzle game or anything, but this did seem a bit rushed. Oak tells Ash to do this thing he knows nothing about or where to go, and Ash is just there. But, I mean, really, it's just a fun cutscene to introduce the game. I'm just being nitpicky. Then we arrive at the Puzzle Village, and yeah, it's definitely trying to look like Pokemon Stadium. And there are a lot of places to go, but I'll explain what they are. But first, we should look at the actual game. So if you go to one-player stadium, you can go through trainer by trainer. First up is, of course, Gary, Ash's main rival on the show. You get to choose which Pokemon you want to start off with, and I don't think this really matters all too much. Essentially, you get to see those Pokemon in the background and you'll hear their anime voices on occasion, but that's about it. They don't really seem to have too much relevance to the gameplay itself. Which, I mean, isn't really a surprise since this went from being a Yoshi/Tetris series to a Pokemon one. But of course, I start with Bulbasaur. Then you are shown your puzzle screen with a bunch of different colored blocks, each representing Pokemon types. Kinda. There is the standard grass, fire, water, as well as circle, diamond, heart, and Pokeball. Then you just guide your 2-square cursor around, press A to flip the 2 blocks that the cursor hovers over, and try to string together combos by matching 3 or more of the same color in a row, either horizontally or vertically. When you string together a combo of these, Ash will exclaim,
I'm gonna win!
And you will send garbage blocks to your opponent to halt their progress, which is a long block to get in the way. And, I mean, that's really about it. You try to get your opponent to have all of their blocks cover their screen. It's not a complicated game. And as you can tell by the gameplay here, I'm not very good. It's okay, I'll admit it. I've always liked Tetris enough, but I've never really been into the falling block puzzle video games. Or in this case, rising block ones. Yoshi's Cookie, Dr. Mario, Puyo Puyo, I mean, these are fine, but I tend to lose interest pretty quickly. Once you defeat Gary, you move on to your next opponent to earn a badge, which is Brock. Repeat until you earn all of the badges. But back to the main screen. There are other game modes you can do. Marathon involves playing the game for as long as you can. Time Zone is playing the game in a set amount of time. Spa Service is, once again, playing the game, but clearing blocks above a white line. This one is unique in that it's Team Rocket pretending to be spa employees so they can steal your Bulbasaur and Squirtle. Puzzle University is trying to solve specific puzzles. It starts very easy, like doing a single move to win, and it gets progressively more difficult. And finally, there's 2-player stadium mode for some multiplayer action. You can also do these in standard 2D mode or 3D, which is all sorts of disorienting. You play the game in a cylinder and have to rotate it. I honestly couldn't do this for very long as it was kind of making me dizzy. Props to those who've mastered this in 3D because yikes. And that's really about it. There is enough variety to match your preferred playstyle, but you're still going to be matching blocks for all of them. It doesn't really deviate too much. It's meant to be a very basic time waster kind of game that hopes you'll get into it enough to want to master it. The other village options are basically option or tutorial menus, giving the game a reason to show off more characters from the anime. Pokemon Center is just records and options with Nurse Joy and Chansey. Professor Oak's Labs is learning how to play, and Mimic Mansion is learning different strategies with Tracy and Meryl. And yeah, that's something else, Meryl. There may be others that I didn't see, but this is the first Pokemon game release that shows 2 brand new Pokemon from Generation 2, at least in North America. Togepi and Meryl. They were both presences in the anime, so it's not like this is their introductions, but in the video game world it was. Kinda cool. So as far as my Where's Parasect segment goes, unfortunately, I'm sad to report that Parasect is not in this game. And even if it was, it would have been a still image, so I'm not too heartbroken over it. But because of this, 0 out of 10. But reception and sales-wise, Pokemon Puzzle League got pretty high reviews really, some high B and low A grades. So it certainly does have its fans. As far as best-selling Nintendo 64 games goes, this did not make the top list, being the first Pokemon game not to do so. Therefore, I guess that makes this a hidden gem for the N64. So that about sums it up for Pokemon Puzzle League. I can see this being addicting for certain players, absolutely, but for me, I don't feel the need to play it again. It's really cool that they replicated the anime so well, even if it's just still images, save for the intro scene. But that's about it for the charm factor. This is a puzzle game at its core, and the fact that it's a Pokemon game is really just cosmetic purposes. This could have been Doom Puzzle League and it would have been the same game. So in that sense, I don't know. Pokemon was crazy popular then, so this game comes across as a cash grab more so than any of the others thus far, at least to me. But again, it's certainly not a bad game. I'll simply chalk it up to a collector's item only for me. And hearing the same voice clips on repeat could make you want to play with the volume down. Hearing Tracy say,
"Oh man, oh man, oh man,"
over and over in Mimic Mansion was enough to make me want to stop. But in the end, yeah, check this one out if you're a sucker for rising block puzzle games. Well, we made it, you guys. We are officially closing the chapter on Generation 1. Think of this as the end of Part 1 in the Paraspective. And we have only covered 2 years among these last 7 games I've discussed. Crazy. I won't consider this next part an official ranking or anything, as some of these games are vastly different from one another, but I'll give it a shot. I can say that Red, Blue, and Yellow are absolute classics and mandatory Game Boy owns. I mean, Red and Blue kicked off Pokemania after all. Then Pokemon trading card game, just because it means so much to me and my channel. Plus I can still have a lot of fun with it, even after doing multiple challenges and editing clips of it among so many hours. Pokemon Stadium was one I was really hyped for, finally getting to do Pokemon battles in 3D, and the fact that you can play your Game Boy games in the game itself is really awesome. Then Pokemon Snap, mostly because I have a lot of nostalgia for it. And the bottom 2 for me are Pokemon Pinball and Pokemon Puzzle League last. They're really just side games to cover different genres, but I liked how they implemented the Pokemon into pinball a bit more than they did in Puzzle League. And there we go. Thank you all once again for checking out these last 7 parts. My Patreon is always an option if you are in the giving mood and want to help enhance the Paraspectre channel, or just check me out on Twitter or get a hold of me through my email. My friends here get major thanks from me, and I really do appreciate it, seriously. Next time, that's right, we begin the Generation 2 era. Part 2 is only going to be 5 episodes compared to the 7 for Part 1, and only covers less than 1 year. But next time we will be going only about 3 weeks into the future to October of 2000, where we are getting the single most hyped Pokemon game for me from my life. It's a new mainline Pokemon game with a whole new story, new map, new protagonists, and of course, new Pokemon. Paraspectre will return for Pokemon Gold and Silver.